All right. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody for coming. I'd like to call the meeting to order at 7:04. Kevin, roll call.
Mr. Dickerson. Here. Ms. Gerber.
Here.
Mr. Paulin.
Here.
Mr. Campbell.
Here.
Mr. Thacker.
Here.
Ms. Elliott.
Here.
All present and accounted for.
All right. If we could stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, again, I'd like to thank everyone for coming to Amelia Village Council, September 11th, 2012. Today is a very special day in America. I have a statement I would like to read to all our residents and all Americans. September 11th, 2001, the day that brought us great tragedy as well as great heroism. The day that changed what it means to be an American. September 11th, 2012. We reflect back to thank and honor those who made split-second decisions to go to their inevitable deaths in order to save many. We remember these individuals who were in the buildings and on the planes, whose lives were taken during the attacks on our nation. We express our sincerest sympathy to the families of all who were lost. We pray for those who are deeply affected and who are still suffering today from the events of 11 years ago. With that, I'd like to say God bless America, and if we could take a few moments of silence in remembrance of all those victims and their families and the ones that are now still suffering. All right. Thank you all. Now, if we can move on.
I move that we go into an executive session to consider the discipline of a public employee.
Is that in the form of a motion?
That's a motion.
Second.
I have a motion. I have a second. Roll call vote, Kevin.
Mr. Dickerson. Yay. Ms. Gerber.
Yay.
Mr. Paulin.
Yay.
Mr. Campbell.
Yay.
Mr. Thacker.
Yay.
Ms. Elliott.
Yay.
Passes 6-0.
This time we're going to adjourn for just a few moments to go into an executive session. It shouldn't be very long, and we'll be right back. Thank you. I'd like to go ahead and bring the meeting back to order at 7:10. Kevin, roll call, please.
Mr. Dickerson.
I have a motion
Here.
to come back from executive session.
I need a
I
motion.
make a motion we return from executive session.
You second that, Bob? Okay. I have a first and a second. Roll call vote, Kevin, please.
Mr. Dickerson. Ms. Gerber.
Yay.
Mr. Paulin.
Yay.
Mr. Campbell.
Yay.
Mr. Thacker.
Yay.
Ms. Elliott.
Yay.
All ayes. Passes.
All right, thank you. You got a copy of the August 28th, 2012 regular meeting minutes. This time I'd entertain a motion.
I make a motion. Pay this. I accept the minutes.
Second.
I have a motion. I have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Mr. Dickerson.
Yay.
Ms. Gerber.
Yay.
Mr. Paulin.
Yay.
Mr. Campbell.
Yay.
Mr. Thacker.
Yay.
Ms. Elliott.
Yay.
Passes 6-0.
Next order of business, you have a copy of the bills. Give everybody a chance to go over those.
What I did is I included not only the bills, but also the fund balances, receipts for August, and then the appropriation balances, all through August 31st.
At this time, I entertain a motion to pay the bills.
Make a motion to pay the bills.
Second. Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Mr. Dickerson.
Yay.
Ms. Gerber.
Yay.
Mr. Paulin.
Yay.
Mr. Campbell.
Yay.
Mr. Thacker.
Yay.
Ms. Elliott.
Yay.
Passes 6-0.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to have Police Chief David Friend come up. He's going to give you an update on the repairs on car 18. I think we ran into a little more problems with it, so he's going to explain what's going on with that. That's the SUV, right, Chief?
Yes. Hey, before we start, we're celebrating 911 Day today. The big event, of course, is in New York City, and my son's in the harbor at this time, protecting that area of the coast of New York City in the United States Coast Guard. So he's right there. So
Great, good for him,
yeah.
Thank him
Proud
for
of
us,
Jeff.
Chief.
Somebody sees it. The 2005 Explorer, I kind of, at the top of that page that I gave you right here, I kind of want to give you a little history of that. It's reached 100,000 miles, which I guess nowadays the cars, unless maybe there are additional problems with police cars, but this one, it's not leaking a drop of oil in the engine. The engine's strong. It just had a new brake job, just has nice tires, newer tires. And I believe that it's worth keeping at this point. Even if the police department were to keep it, it would eventually be passed down to a zoning and or the Ricky and the street department, I would assume. So it probably would be worth getting the transmission fixed at this point, other than buying a new Explorer at this time, which eventually is what I would like to replace it with, because it's either that or a Taurus that I would, and I really don't care for the Taurus, it's in space and everything else. And it's, the Explorers are just outstanding, I guess. But anyway, that's future. I called and got some estimates here, and the estimates are huge. The Amoco is $2,200. As you can see, Cotman over here by Eastgate, that is between $24,000 and $3,000. Ridge transmission over there at Pleasant Ridge is $2,000, and he gave me an approximate figure there. But Jack's transmission, and this was called on by Brian, and Brian is the one who kind of comes in here and fixes our cars a lot, and he knows what he's doing. He talked to them personally. He trusts these people, and they said that they could do this for 15 total rebuild and everything.
Yeah, I know about them. They're good. They've been there for years. Over at Owensville, behind the racetrack.
So it's really good to get a lot of estimates, because who would know that there might be half the difference.
Does Jack's do removal and installation
Removal and installation.
of the transmission?
Yeah, this is all.
That includes it?
It's all inclusive. Jack's is all inclusive.
Because I know at one time, I don't think they did. I've used them in the past, and I trust them too. So.
Brian did what he got some sort of solenoid pack, the electronic part of it. He thought that might fix it, but you would need that anyway. So it's not money, down the drain. It's money that's already put into that transmission part, so they don't have to use that. And he explained all that to him, and of course, those guys knew what he was talking about and everything. So my suggestion is to go with Jack's transmission and get it back on the road again. That'll be your fourth vehicle. So you guys would have to decide on that, of course, and being a money, this much money, you should decide on that. We should also consider the old car 17 back there. Old car 17 running really good too, and I guess at one point you guys put a lot of money into it, and it reached the 100,000 mile mark. Well, now the cars around here seem to be going 150, 160,000. So other than let it sit back there and rust into the ground, it is still a nice car, and the only thing that need is a transmission seal, which wouldn't even come close to this amount of money. And I looked in that the other day, and little pieces here and there are missing, put into the other Crown Vics out there, but we can replace those little pieces. So we probably ought to make a decision, either that or put it on sealed bids and just make money for something else. So other than just leave it sit there. So because the weeds are this high around it now. So whatever you guys wish to do, I guess one way or the other. Make a grade school car or a flat top still. And that could also be passed too at one point.
Could you get an estimate from Jack on that one also then, on what it would cost to put that new seal in
I
there?
think I'll ask Brian again. I think Brian could do that, but I'll ask him again.
Okay.
Get that all ready for you. Okay. Any questions or anything?
No, I think we need to go ahead with Jack, so I make a motion that we repair the Explorer at Jack's transmission.
Second.
Motion is second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Mr. Dickerson.
Yay.
Ms. Gerber.
Yay.
Mr. Paula.
Yay.
Mr. Hart. Mr. Campbell.
Yay.
Mr. Thacker.
Yay.
Ms. Elliott.
Yay.
6-0.
All right, and again, you say your son watches, and I'd like to personally thank him for being out there protecting all of us. So I think that's very honorable and a great thing to do. So
And today was his daughter's very first day of school, and he missed that. So
hopefully they had a video.
yeah, they do.
Okay.
I'm good.
Going to move on to committee reports. This time we have no finance report.
In addition, in the packets as a resolution, I have the approved budget from the county auditor's office, if anyone would like to look at it. It's pretty much the same thing that was presented in July, just with their approval and estimated resources on it.
Okay, it didn't change from what they had given us originally.
No, this is for 2013.
Okay. Anybody like to have a copy of that? Kevin will get you a copy. Planning and zoning.
Thank you, Mayor. In our meeting, we had a review of the Kroger Fuel Center plans. After some discussion, we decided we needed to go ahead and send it over to Union Township Fire Department just to make sure it complies with some of their things that will apply to the fire department. We also had a discussion on the zoning and permit fees. We hope to set some new fees by our next meeting. We also have a discussion on the South Deer Creek name change, which there'll be a meeting tomorrow at 7 p.m. for any residents who want to discuss the possible name change there. And then after that meeting, we're going to have another zoning meeting to discuss the fees. We do still need another resident for the zoning committee. One of our other committee members can no longer help out, so that's where we stand with that.
All righty. And that's planning and zoning.
Planning and zoning.
So if anybody out there is interested, please let us know and send a letter. Safety.
The only thing we discussed really was a possible neighborhood watch program. We would like to put it out to our audience that if you are interested in this, our next safety meeting is October 3rd at 7 p.m. And if you're interested, please attend and give us your ideas and things like that. So if anybody's interested, please come. That's all I got.
Moving down to legislation. Our first ordinance is 0-2012-36, a supplemental appropriation. An ordinance by the Council of Amelia Village, Ohio, making supplemental appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2012 for Amelia Village. We need to do this as an emergency or since it's. With that, I entertain a motion.
Make a motion.
Second.
The motion, I have a second. Any discussion over this ordinance?
Mayor, you would need to waive the 3 reading rule, though?
Yes.
Is that the
So actually,
motion you
we'll,
made?
Yeah.
yes. So this time I make a motion to waive the 3 readings on 3 separate dates. So I need a motion for that.
Okay, well, I guess I'll make the motion.
All right, thank you.
Second.
I have a first, I have a second. Kevin, roll call vote.
Mr. Dickerson. Yay. Ms. Gerber.
Yay.
Mr. Paul.
Yay.
Mr. Campbell.
Yay.
Mr. Thacker.
Yay.
Ms. Elliott.
Yay.
Passes.
At this time, I need a motion to adopt ordinance 0-2012-36.
This is the part I was really getting motion.
Okay.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
A Motion, I have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Mr. Dickerson.
Yay.
Ms. Gerber.
Yay.
Mr. Pollock.
Yay.
Mr. Campbell.
Yay.
Mr. Thacker.
Yay.
Ms. Elliott.
Yay.
Passes 6-0.
Second piece of legislation, we're going to do a first reading on to give you time to take this home and read over this. This is Amelia Village, Ohio Ordinance 0-2012-37, an ordinance amending Chapter 152 of the Codified Ordinances of Amelia Village to disband the Planning Commission. That'd be the first reading. Our third piece of legislation tonight is Amelia Village, Ohio Resolution R-2012-08, a resolution accepting the amounts and rates determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor. At this time, I need a motion to suspend the rules requiring 3 readings on 3 separate dates.
So moved.
A second.
First, I have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Mr. Dickerson.
Yay.
Ms. Gerber.
Yay.
Mr. Pollock.
Yay.
Mr. Campbell.
Yay.
Mr. Thacker.
Yay.
Ms. Elliott.
Yay.
Passes 6-0.
This time I need a motion for the adoption of resolution R-2012-08.
So moved.
Second.
First, I have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Mr. Dickerson.
Yay.
Ms. Gerber.
Yay.
Mr. Pollock.
Yay.
Mr. Campbell.
Yay.
Mr. Thacker.
Yay.
Ms. Elliott.
Yay.
Passes 6-0.
Thank you. This time, I'd like to go ahead and open the floor for any public input. So if anybody out there has any public input, please feel free to step forward, state your name, your address, and tell us what's on your mind. No public input? Do I have any council input?
What's the thoughts of us doing a Facebook page for the village, just to get the word out to people, without them having to go to the website to get updates on things? If they like us on Facebook, it'll be automatic every time we put something on there. They just automatically get it. It's free.
I guess it's up to whatever council thinks about it.
Who's going to update it? It's free to put us out there on Facebook, but it's not free.
We would have to have a manager to manage it, probably Julie or myself.
Don't we have one with rec? Can we do the updates for the rec one?
Recreation has its own Facebook. I think what Chris is talking about is
Doing
doing
one
one
straight
straight for the
The
village.
village has a Facebook page. Just hasn't been updated.
They do have, I've tried to get on it, I've never been able to get on it, so.
Does that limit people's ability to post?
Can you try to see if you can pull that up? I haven't been able to get on
If
it.
it stays idle for so long.
It's been idle for over a year.
Then they get rid of it.
Okay, so then we have to.
Yeah,
So
it
we'd
would have to be
start a
updated.
new one.
create a new
What was the other question?
How do you guys feel about it? I mean,
Well, we've tried to, on the rec one, limit comments.
No comments are allowed.
And we can't get it to do that, so there's 3 of us that actually monitor to make sure nobody gets on there. The problem when you put on there that there's no comments, it's hard to explain, but you don't get as much information. And it's hard to find that button to make it no comments.
They can't make posts.
Yeah.
But they can comment on an existing post.
Right. So if we post something on there, they can make a comment.
But we can remove it.
So somebody can have to keep an eye on it.
But
Correct.
whoever
Maybe.
maintains it, if they do get automatic updates on your Facebook, on your notification, whoever made a comment. So you can check it out right away on your notification and take care of it.
So if somebody were to put a very not nice comment on there
You can delete
until you could delete it, but if nobody's looking at it, that comment's going to be on there until we can delete it.
That's all you want.
And then do we run into a problem being, since we did let them put comments, that's a public record?
There's a lot of issues I think we may want to work through.
Okay, we'll look into it. I think it's a good idea, but I think we could run into a little bit of problems on the comment section. I know several other entities do have Facebooks, and I don't believe you can look at it, but you can't make any comments on it. So,
Maybe we can get a hold of them and ask them how they.
Claremont County has
Yeah,
one. We can
Colerain
get a hold of
Township
them.
has one, and I believe
Claremont County has one also.
Montgomery does.
So,
A couple state offices do as well.
so we'll see how they do and how they set it up and see where we can go from there. When is our next recreation meeting? You know?
Be a month from yesterday.
Okay. That would be fine then, so, okay.
Another thing to consider, since we already have the recreation Facebook pages, to have a permanent sign attached to our existing sign, because putting it on the board out there for a couple weeks, people are going to forget about it. Not everybody looks at that sign every day, so we should have something that says, like us, recreation. That way, it's out there all the time. And if we do a village Facebook, same there.
You can put it on our website.
Huh?
You can put it on our website too.
Well, not everybody checks the website. Like the thing with Facebook, you like it whenever we do the updates, they
They get it automatically.
Exactly.
Has the village looked into like a marquee sign for outside? Like
we haven't-
CVS has, to where Julie doesn't have to run out. She can type whatever, and it can scroll through a number of events.
We did that a few years ago, but
Yeah, I
we didn't
think
have the money
Tim
for it, yeah.
was looking into that and kind of came up with, I think it was around $8,000 or something.
Yeah, start out.
I've actually looked into that about 2 months ago. We had our sign repaired, and they're telling me now they're quite cheaper. Anywhere you can pick one up for $4,000 to $5,000 now. So I don't know how you feel that's.
Can we
still a lot of
look
money,
into
but-
that? I mean,
Sure, I can look into a price on that.
Get a quote on that?
yeah.
Sure.
I mean, if we can run through for, rec, zoning, you can have it scroll through, especially in the morning, the traffic's ridiculous out there. At least it goes through and, we can have more information put out just by that sign alone. It would be worth the money.
Sure, I'll get us a couple of quotes on a couple different size signs, and we'll see what they come back with. Not a problem.
We really did good getting a lot of information out with that newsletter when we had it here. I think that was something that everybody read.
We are also working on that, looking to do one. For us to do a mailing is about $2,000. So,
That's half the price of the
I mean,
sign.
that's half
See,
the
I'd
price
rather
of the
do
sign
the
if you do
sign.
one mail.
Exactly.
That's 4 times a year.
That's 4 times a year. I know everyone read that. I don't know, once the sign gets up there and it's up there for a little while, I don't notice a school sign like I used to when they first put it up there. At first, when it was up there moving all the time, you notice it, but now it's been up there for a while.
But if we could find a way to
Loses
cut
its
the cost
impact.
on the postage, but right now we just,
Could you
Bob's looked into it, I know, and just can't.
do it by email?
Well, we're trying to get off the computer technology and go to the basic technology of mailing it to their house.
Pitches.
So, because there are a lot of people with the economy the way it is now, a lot of people aren't having service put in their house anymore. They're, cutting back. One of the cutbacks is the internet, and so they don't have it. So, and you have a lot of older people in the village that won't change with technology, and so they still won't have the internet. So.
Have we thought about putting a little thing in there where if you don't want to just receive this by email, just then we can take them off the mailing list and put them on the email list? That would save us a little bit of postage, or is it all?
We tried to generate an email list, and we had like 6 people.
Yeah, but I'm just saying,
In the past.
you bite the bullet on the first round, because of what, 2,000 a year postage, or are we talking 2,000 a time?
I think
It's
that's a
fine.
mailing. That's per mailing.
That's per
So that's
mailing.
two.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
So
okay.
for mailings.
$8,000 we can
Yeah.
assign.
I thought it was 2,000 for the whole year. I'm going,
No.
yeah, I like that idea. What's,
No, that would be
no,
fairly
it-
reasonable, but no, it's.
Oh, that
And
explains why we haven't done it
you
yet.
gotta remember, we're pushing right at the 5,000 resident mark, and our
Yeah.
housing is, there's a lot of residents in this small town.
Oh, yeah, there's something
With
about
your
yeah.
printing and all that.
Yeah.
But I will get some quotes on a couple different signs. Bring it back to council the next meeting, and we'll see what council wants to do from there.
I think there's something else possibly we're looking into with the newsletter is maybe having businesses sponsor it, put a little advertisement in it or whatever to help defer some of those costs.
Yeah.
It's another thing to think about.
Is the big cost just the postage?
It's a little bit of everything, but yeah, your bulk cost is the
Printing.
postage.
What if we were just to have it as a freebie in the local businesses?
You
Just
could
have
do
a
that,
little
but
newsstand.
again, if it doesn't come straight to their door,
You know, there's no guarantee they're gonna read it if it does come straight to the door either.
you're right.
We got a lot of
Nothing's 100%.
Do what,
People
Joe?
really appreciated receiving that. They did.
So maybe we'll look at that, doing what Derek had talked about, possibly getting sponsors on our newsletter, and then being able to have local business sponsor it and help us cut some of the costs.
Mhm.
I think that would be a good idea.
Do like an advertisement section in it.
I think Dolan had that. Had been just-
I don't remember, it had Businessmen's Association in it, but I don't think they actually, I don't know
Yeah.
how much, do you know how much did the Businessmen's Association used to put into the newsletter? No?
We paid for that completely,
Okay.
the printing and the postage.
Okay. But again, that's something I could come up with to them, especially if we do an advertisement page on it. All right, any other council input?
I wanted to bring up, after reading the handout we got a few weeks ago, or probably about a month ago now, about, and maybe you can clarify it, I hope, a little more about our retirement plan with our pay, that is actually going to go up. Do you know anything about that too? Your base pay has to be $300 in order to receive 50% of your retirement pay back.
Is that the proposed state law changes?
Yeah.
With Oprah's.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't looked at it specifically, I've just heard things.
Right now, it's $250
50,
a month you have to make in order to have some type of credit.
Qualify.
Right.
To qualify for
and that
Oprah's.
is looking to go up
Up to
to 300. So we need to look, as a council, it wouldn't affect any of us, but incoming council, in order to get that 50%, we're going to have to bump pay up to 300. Or 305 or whatever it would be in order for everybody to qualify to get that 50% back at the end of, your retirement. So I think we need to consider that so that it goes into effect sooner than later.
The one thing, a lot of the changes that PRS does only affect new members. So existing council members may be
Right.
grandfathered, even if you
Right.
Run for office again.
Correct.
You're considered an existing
That's why I said
member.
it wouldn't mean our pay is raised, but, anybody looking to run again or those who are going to run, it would benefit them. So we would have to do it now in order for it to,
Right,
Correct.
because it has to be approved 10 days prior to people filing their petitions to run for office. So I know other jurisdictions in the county are looking at rates of pay for their council members as well. So yeah, if that's something you want to proceed with, just,
yeah.
We actually
I think
have
we
no
need-
one running right now, so.
right.
Yeah, I think we
Right.
need to see a report on the law to see how.
It was in your pamphlet.
No, I mean, she was gonna review it and look at it and then see.
You
And
know,
then we currently, what is our state's pay?
266
something.
for the council members.
Yeah, so we're talking 40.
300 for Bob, 700 for Todd.
Yeah, so, I mean,
I think they're actually looking to raise council and the mayor, both, I believe. And again, it doesn't, anybody here sitting here right now will absolutely not affect. You will
Yeah.
not get the raise. So.
yeah, but the other thing we gotta think about too is, I mean, everyone else is gonna cut benefits. I mean, we're gonna ensure that we can keep benefits, and we've been taking benefits from everyone.
So you're
else.
just ensuring the money you're putting into that system you're gonna get back.
correct.
Yeah, you're still gonna
Yeah,
put into
we're
it.
still gonna have to cough up another, I don't see, I gotta do the math real quick, let's take this from this slow today. 4 times 12, 36, 70, so it's $7,200, or $720 a year per council member. No, did I do too wrong? 12 times 4 is 48, you're right, okay, so it's $480. I told you I was slow today. $480, what is that?
Basically, the way it
It's
works
gonna be a
now
lot
for
more money. We gotta look
every
into how much money and if we've
every
got the
3
money for
years
it.
you're here on council, you earn 1 year of retirement. It's a third, so it's 4 months per year that you're here paying into it. So for one term, you'll gain a year and 4 months.
Correct.
Retirement.
I mean, it's
For us
definitely
getting
something-
older.
It's definitely something to kick around, but I mean, like I said, it's something we'll have to look at and think about if we've even got the money there for it. That's my take on it.
Well, and Julia and I have talked about it, and I mean, it's something that by the time it comes around, when's our next election for council?
We won't
Next
have
year?
anybody till next November.
It needs to be done now. Correct? And in order, like you said, for it to possibly grandfather in, if they would possibly do that, it would be, what, how many of, 2 or 3? 3 council members that it could possibly affect next year?
And I'll
It'll
check
be
on
4
that.
next year.
I'll-
Could possibly, top highest is 4 people that are up for election next year.
No,
Yes.
no,
Yeah.
it's us
Bob.
3. You?
It's Bob,
You.
Derek, me, and Chris. I think.
Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
4 people.
So, I mean,
I'll check that grandfathered status with PRS and see if that's what they're gonna do with the current people. I guess somebody else, you said that there's other entities talking about it, so obviously they're looking into it also, so.
And you can crunch your numbers for finance.
We'll look at it and see. I mean, I just,
Okay.
it seems, like I said,
You all right if we do that?
sure.
Okay, that way we'll have, Chuck can have his numbers and I'll have for you, for sure not whether to grandfather, current people in, because I'm not sure.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm not really
I don't know.
worried about, because at the rate it is now, we would still,
If
you
it's
would still get,
grandfathered.
correct. So, again, I mean, we can't, we're all up here working too hard to not stay competitively waged with other entities, around us.
I will look in, I will have that info at the next meeting. And I'll find out, I think your figures were right, I think it's 300, and I can't remember,
Yeah.
talking about mayors too, I'm not sure what
Yeah.
that went, I thought it went to 1,000, but I could be wrong. So. Any other council input tonight?
I have one thing. I know we all have some bad memories from 9/11, 11 years ago, but I've got some good memories from 3 years ago. My youngest daughter, Nella, was born 3 years ago today. Today's her third birthday.
Happy
so-
birthday.
Happy birthday, Nella.
Happy birthday. I've got one more piece of information. You see that it's getting very active up on 125.
Oh, yeah.
They're getting ready to put the water line in. They're going to be demolition on some of the buildings in the house, and everything's in full swing up there. So I'm just hoping that the residents be patient with what little bit of traffic snags we're going to have, because we're going to have some up there. And Ricky's also up there right now, currently doing a new storm drain on the east side of town, so on Main Street. So other than that, does anybody have anything else?
Looks like they started work on the main lot too.
They are removing stumps up there right now. So. If there's nothing else, our next council meeting will be Tuesday, September 25th, 2012 at 7 p.m. With that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you all for coming.